My name is Alan.
My name's Evan. Welcome to All My Friends. Dude, that was so legit. And we back, and we back, and we back. We are back for another episode of All My Friends.
Wow.
How's it going? Did you like my new intro?
Good. I really liked how much you hyped up how you had a new intro planned.
Mm-hmm. Got to switch it up every week, you know?
At least it was Chance you used.
I was going to say, did it sound like Chance the Rapper? There's probably a lot of people that
definitely
we
did
have
not.
Chance the Rapper on the episode. But
We're probably
we're almost there.
We're probably getting him.
And actually, we might. You never know. You're going to have to wait and see. Wait for the next episode because we might have Chance the Rapper on it, right?
We might have.
We might have. But this week, we have someone else, right? Who do we have? Who did we have on the pod, my man?
This week we had KRANE.
With a K. Spell it correctly, people. KRANE with a K.
KRANE with a K. Correct. All capitals.
He's a producer / DJ / very nice gentleman. He's a good-looking guy, too.
He is a good
male model. Probably a male model. We can cut that part out.
Yep.
That's okay. I always have one of those mistakes early on. Very nice guy from the Bay Area who was up to play a show at Q and is a fantastic producer. He's great. Nothing else to say.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit more into our interview and introduce him a little bit properly, but a little bit better.
Yeah.
That was bad. We'll cut that out.
It's okay. We'll cut that too. But first up, of course, we've got to do some segments here. Starting off the episode with a little look back at this week in music. It was a fiery week full of exciting news, right, Alan?
Yeah, didn't really see much news music. There wasn't too much going on, but there was a very nice headline we saw this week.
What was the nice headline? What do you think about? I'm thinking about a different one, probably.
Well, I'm thinking about Drake's God's Plan
Drake.
video.
Ever heard of
his
him?
music video.
Yeah, we're recording this Friday afternoon, the day that Drake's God's Plan video was released. And it's funny because last episode, we actually made fun of it a little bit, thinking that it wasn't a big deal that Drake showed up at a Miami high school to film his music video.
But actually,
Pretty cool.
the video was pretty cool.
I saw a headline that literally said, the God's Plan music video is the most important thing Drake has done. Pretty big.
I mean, maybe as far as like socially, because he gave away almost $1 million in his video.
Yeah.
And gave scholarships and bought people groceries
Cars.
and cars. And yes, that
lot
part
of
was
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
Musically, I'm just going to say probably a couple of his other albums or projects were better, but I don't want to, demean this video. It was great.
So for those of you who have not seen the video, it's essentially Drake going to different parts of Miami, which is actually a pretty has more rough parts in the city than you would think. Yeah. And he is meeting with families, he's meeting with youth programs at schools and stuff, and he's just giving away videos. At the start, he prefaces the video saying that the label gave them nearly $1 million to spend on the video, and they didn't spend a dime of it. They just gave it all away.
Yep, they just used a little bit of money to record and travel, and everything else they just spent giving away. It was pretty cool.
I love Drake. He's the best.
He's pretty cool.
He's the best. Shout out to Drake. We'll have him on the pod soon. But it was really cool. So if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And Alan saw some great content on Twitter about the Drake video, and he doesn't want to say it.
I didn't want to steal it, but Funny or Die had a pretty good tweet. And this is bad radio because now we're just reading out tweets.
Okay.
But Funny or Die say if you watch Drake's video backwards, it's all about Drake stealing $1 million from the people from Miami.
That's pretty good, right? God, Drake is a hater, apparently, in a different realm. That's good. Other things that happen in music. Ooh, Kanye West, speaking of big rappers, Kanye.
Heard of him?
The man himself. He returned to Instagram for only 9 hours. We'll just let that settle right there because that's pretty big news, right? Kanye West made it back on social media for 9 hours. You could even say, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was okay. I mean, he posted a lot of photos about couples, famous couples.
I didn't even notice.
Well, yeah, you're not a very social person.
I guess I'm not glued to my phone. I'm concerned with other things.
Yeah.
But in light of this, I thought of a couple things that are longer than Kanye's return to Instagram.
What are those?
The Lord of the Rings movies. You can watch all those, and that's longer than Kanye being back on Instagram.
You know what else?
What?
Star Wars movies.
Ooh, all of them now? Dude.
Yeah.
Like 3 Star Wars movies, and you're longer than that.
Yeah.
I can't stand long movies. A flight from Seattle to Australia. Longer than Kanye. You could have there were probably people that flew from Seattle to Australia.
And missed it.
That missed it. They didn't even know that Kanye was back.
Well, maybe they should have gone to Wi-Fi on the airplane.
Gosh. Yeah, right. We're not all rich like
If
that.
you're flying for more than 3 hours, pay the $5 and get Wi-Fi.
$5? Where are you getting Wi-Fi for $5? That's like $10 usually, and it's not good.
So you're just like, well, never mind. You just play your little video
Why
games.
Why don't they? I don't know how it's not. It's 2018. Wi-Fi should be free on all planes except Spirit. Because Spirit.
Okay. Just because they could be a sponsor, I don't want to say it, but fuck Spirit.
If Spirit's ready to come through with like $100,000, I'm down.
I'll take it back.
So
We'll edit
down.
it out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out for you. But yeah, 9 hours is not that long, but he made it back and he's already gone. Very Kanye of him.
Great headline.
In and out, like the old Irish exit. Is that what they say? Irish goodbye.
Irish exit.
Yeah. Something like that. Next up, Mr. Frank Ocean. Yeah, everyone's favorite guy to talk about.
First, let's be very clear. Evan is probably the biggest Frank Ocean hater I've ever met.
I'm so far from that.
Name 3 of your favorite songs.
Oh, I couldn't name.
Exactly.
Channel Orange. I know that's the album.
Wow. What's the
Blonde.
second album?
There's a couple of the songs on Blonde I like, actually. It's fine. It's cool. It's just not very exciting to me.
Just so our listeners know, you're listening to a podcast about music with someone that doesn't enjoy Frank Ocean or R&B in general.
I like some R&B.
I'll show that out there.
I like some R&B.
So
we don't need to name names yet, but I like some. No, Frank is he's so elusive to me. I can't get a grasp on him. He's not a real person to me. He's just a guy that is putting out music. Pretty good,
the
right?
best music possible.
I'm against the craze. But Frank made it in headlines this past week by releasing a cover for a song that is over 50 years old.
Yeah.
There you go. That's something new for you.
Did you like the original?
So the song he covers is Moon River from the Audrey Hepburn film Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yep.
I love the original song and I love the cover. So this is where I'd like to declare today that I'm changing my ways and I'm going to start loving Frank Ocean now.
2018.
As long as he recovers songs that are over 50 years old, I'm down. Next one he should do, National Anthem. That'd be pretty good, right? The
Covers the national anthem or sings
Star Spangled Banner. That's what you should do.
Sings it or covers it?
What's the difference?
I feel like cover is like you do your own version.
Either one. What are some other songs that over 50 years old that Frank Ocean should?
That's it. I literally can't think of another
Amazing
song.
Grace. Happy Birthday. He should do Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is for sure over 50 years old.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That'd be good.
The problem with that is like he would just have the best renditions ever, and so you would go and hear the national anthem and be like, "Wow, that was disappointing."
I'd like for someone to cover to cover Happy Birthday. I want a new spin on it. How's that song not gotten spun off?
We need a new birthday
We
song.
need a new Happy Birthday song. So someone be out there. Yeah, we need that now. Other things that happen. For you rock listeners, if you're familiar with the band Car Seat Headrest from Seattle, hello. Car Seat Headrest and Smash Mouth, a very odd pairing if you've listened to either of those bands. There have been rumors that they were big fans of each other and that they would collab. Well, this week, the Car Seat Headrest cover of a Smash Mouth song, not All Star, unfortunately, was released.
That's the only cover I'm interested related to Smash Mouth.
I just and
That is
I'll
the
never
only
be able
headline
to.
I would have accepted.
Yeah, I'll never be able to think of Smash Mouth and not think of Guy Fieri as the lead singer. I just assume that it's the same guy.
Well, have you seen them together?
Dude, it could be.
Could be.
Let's start. We should get that rumor out there. That Guy Fieri.
I'm sure that rumor is well.
Yeah,
out
I'm
there.
sure I'm late on
we're
that
not.
one.
We're not jumping on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm late on that one. But yeah, if Car Seat Headrest isn't covering Guy Fieri, Smash Mouth All Star by Smash Mouth, I'm not interested. Although I love Car Seat Headrest, who have an album out today, so you should listen to it. Everybody, come on,
Definitely.
get on that.
On other smashing news,
Ooh, nice
Smashing
segue.
Pumpkins announced a reunion tour. That's cool.
And that was our segment. That's cool.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Speaking of segments, though, we do have a new segment. Al, you came up with this in your off time while you were bedridden because Alan threw out his back. You guys remember when I said Alan did CrossFit? Look at that. Last episode, I announced Alan does CrossFit. This episode, I announced
It was short-lived.
short-lived career at CrossFit. Picked up a 2-pounder, threw out his back.
Literally wasn't working out. Lifted up something and throw it my back. So that was fun.
He's also 85 years old. Alan is Benjamin Button.
They don't know.
That's what it is. Anyways, tell them about the segment you came up with. I love this idea.
So some people might know another music podcast that we're not going to name.
Oh yeah, we'll bleep it. We'll
because
bleep out the name.
We don't. We don't support other podcasts. But we come up with the Sound Imploder.
Sound Imploder.
This is going to be the very detailed, very, very knowledgeable explanation of how songs were made by us.
Yep.
So,
An in-depth look into certain
in-depth.
songs, certain popular songs. Yeah.
Exactly. So this first week, we have a really fun song. It's on the top charts right now.
Yep.
Ev, why don't you tell us what song we decided to do some research and break down how they made it?
We did our own research and analysis of the song Stir Fry by the popular rap group Migos, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
The song is one of their more upbeat songs. It's got a great video that goes with it. Obviously, Migos, probably not the most culturally sensitive people in the world, came up with the song Stir Fry, and the music video is them like doing karate, which makes sense for Migos. We'll play a little clip of the song somewhere. Maybe we already played it. I can't even tell.
Dance with my dogs in the nighttime. Trap nigga with the chickens like Popeye. Money changing colors like tie-dye. I'm just trying to get it, I ain't trying to die. She got a big ol'
But for me, the hearing that song, one of the first things that stuck out was the synth part of it. It sounded exactly like the synth that you would hear in a Nintendo 64 game's soundtrack.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whistle you hear at the beginning as well is probably because Offset was preparing for the NBA celebrity game he's at today.
Oh, yeah. He's playing a celebrity game. Him, Justin Bieber making his return, and Win Butler from
Arcade Fire,
who is always really good. And people always underestimate him, but he's always really good.
Yeah.
The song also, it was for sure the first time that Migos have ever had Stir Fry.
Oh, yeah. One of them or one of their friends was probably like, you know what would be funny? If you made a track about stir fry. This stuff was really good.
No, and they probably were like, what's stir fry? And then they went out to some really, really nice place and they had it and they were like, damn, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
We should make it. It also it is one of the more upbeat Migos songs. So I have a theory that it's the first song they have made that they weren't high.
See, I have my research shows the complete opposite.
Ooh.
They were definitely high.
Yeah.
They talk about Popeyes and Five Guys. They had the munchies. They were just thinking about food. They have a song called Stir Fry. They had to be high.
No, because I've never been high, but if I was high, mom and dad, I really have never been high. All right, so don't freak out right now. If I was high, then I wouldn't have the capacity to make a song about food without stopping. The song I would never complete it because I'd be high and I'd have to go get food and then I'd forget.
Yeah,
about
but
the song.
this is like a state of mind for them, probably. Like, this isn't like something debilitating where it's like, oh, it's my first time high. I have the munchies, probably. Like, they're probably just like high and like, oh, food.
Migos are more high than they are not high. That's safe to say, right?
Probably. Their waking moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's see. It's also, I mean, for me, the whistle part of it was, I felt like it was the year 2001 and I was listening to a song by Nelly and T.I. And it was like, I'm walking through high school, vibing. I was not in high school when I was 11 years old, but 2001 Nelly T.I. vibes. That's the vibes that I got. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That's what I think too. And that was our analysis of Stir Fry by Migos.
So thank you for listening to Sound Imploder.
Sound Imploder, brought to you by
my friends.
By all my friends in NPR. Donate at your local crap.
Our Venmo account. We'll set one up.
Yeah, we'll set up the Venmo. Link in the description.
Seriously, if you guys like want to support the pod, sponsor, come on.
Oh, Alan, well, as you mentioned before, this week's episode features the producer, or our interview portion of the episode features a producer. Very excited to have him on the pod. His name is KRANE. Real name is Zach.
Yes.
Cut that out if that's wrong. Hope not. Yeah, we had KRANE on the pod. It was awesome. We talked about a lot of different stuff. He was probably the smartest person that we've ever had on an interview. Like, he's probably a super genius.
Well,
oh, no.
You're definitely wrong already because we had K-Fly. So you went to Stanford and got 2 degrees.
We realized that we're really dumb.
Yeah, I think we're just very easily surprised.
Yeah. We're dumb and they're smart. Simple as that.
Yeah.
See, maybe we're a little bit smarter than we thought. Anyways, we talked about him. He talked about the jump of becoming a full-time producer, like quitting his full-time day job that was probably really well-paying and stable and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a designer before, so he talks about that. He talked about his Sessions project, which is a pretty cool project he has where he works with basically any producer on the internet. He takes songs from them and
like open submissions for anyone to email a song in. He listens to all of them
and puts something together. We talked a little bit about the time he was charting.
Oh yeah, the time that he outsold the Chainsmokers. Ever heard of them? So we've officially had a guest on the podcast that whose album was higher on the charts than the Chainsmokers. So basically, we don't need to get the Chainsmokers on ever because we've already gotten better guests than them.
But if anyone knows them and wants to hook it up,
I would do it. That'd be fun. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm down. Vegas, baby.
He has a new Dua Lipa remix coming out. Yeah, soon. He's teased it. He hasn't exactly said when it's going to come out, but probably in the next couple of days, maybe by the time this podcast is out. But if not, soon after.
Yeah. He didn't premiere it on the pod, unfortunately. We really tried.
Yeah. He didn't go that far. But we may have heard other things. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. You're going to have to listen to find out.
Yeah.
And with that, here's our episode with KRANE.
Thanks, guys.
Love you. This is live now.
Live.
We are in an undisclosed location in Seattle, Washington.
Is there what if I swear?
You can swear. It's a podcast, dude.
I don't swear a lot, but
you can now if you want.
Okay.
You want to reel one off real quick?
Not really.
Save it for later.
Yeah.
Save it if there's a good time.
Yeah.
We have a very special guest on the pod. You better spell his name correctly. KRANE. Do not forget the A. We have KRANE on the pod. How's it going, man?
It's going well. How are you guys?
Good. We're very good.
Good, man.
Alan,
Thanks.
Are you good? Good. Do you get KRANE misspelt a lot?
Not anymore. I mean, it didn't used to have the A in it, which is a bit of a story, and that was problematic.
We'll get there.
Okay, yeah. We'll get there. I don't want to spoil
It's
the
okay,
ending
that's
yet. But not really anymore.
Okay.
No, now it makes sense now.
Good. I like it. Well, flipping 180, how does it feel to be higher on the charts than the Chainsmokers?
What charts? Where is
on the charts?
At one
point in your career, you were higher on the electronic iTunes album sales charts than the Chainsmokers.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't know that, but I guess that's cool. I don't know how long did I stay up there.
I mean, I don't know either.
Those details don't matter.
The fact
is you were above.
Really.
It could have been, but for all you can tell your kids that it was 5 years, and they'll never know the difference.
Exactly. These days.
Yeah, kids always fall susceptible to that. You got any feelings about the Chainsmokers? Ever met them?
No, I've never met them. I know very little about them.
Okay.
I know that they're really popular.
They are. But you're more popular, or you were at one point.
For a few minutes on iTunes. I don't know if that accounts for a whole lot.
Come on, man.
Because I think they're. Well, okay, we'll have to take it up with them, but I don't think it's that much. But I have no thoughts about them. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Controversial.
That's good,
thoughts.
Actually. If anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been awesome if you would have bashed them. It would have been a headline.
There's a lot of different notable names though you could insert in place of the word Chainsmokers in that question, and I would still be the same answer.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
You know they exist.
I know they definitely exist.
They definitely exist. Those guys they're doing it big.
All right. So before you became a full-time producer, you were a product designer. Mm-hmm. So would you like to produce and do the graphics for our podcast for free?
Full time for free.
We don't have benefits.
Okay, next question.
Come on, dude.
Next question.
Come on, we gave you a beer.
I'm trying to do less of that for myself. Now, it's difficult to let go, but no. I mean, it's painful to do it for myself too. It's really nice to get someone else to do that for you, and you don't agonize over the details and stuff like that because I already have to do that with music. But yeah, I don't know. No, I would not do it for you though.
Are you talking
or anyone else? I've had friends hit me up for it. And I've made the mistake of saying, okay, just this once or just this quick little edit, and then it's if you give a mouse a cookie, they'll
eat the whole damn
so I've learned to set boundaries now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of the graphic work for yourself as a musical project, or are you talking about like on the side of other things?
Oh no, just for the KRANE
Yeah.
brand. But yeah, now starting to work with some other people. Like for the album, that was the first time I had actually hired another artist to do some of the work, and the bulk of it actually. I mean, that I can't do 3D rendering. I just do 2D stuff. So yeah, I just wanted something that I didn't think I could do myself, and wanted to see what it would be like to get someone else. And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Was it a little tough to hand over
It
the
was
reins?
tough to let go, but I got lucky with this. I found this guy Polygonatic, who is he's in the Philippines, and yeah, we just sort of clicked. And you know, what's cool, having done design and been in consulting and done the work for myself, is I know how to not be a bad client. And that's the big thing, because you know, so many people are like, yeah, I don't really know what I want, just show me some stuff and I'll know it when I see it. And that is just like the worst thing you could possibly do. Yeah. So I was a good client for him. But
That's good. We hope so, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, another kind of pivoting here. Your song "Movin'," getting into the music of the interview here. It samples a Billy Joel song called "Movin' Out."
No.
No?
Nope.
Bad research.
No, well, it's not your fault. I mean, a lot of people have tried to guess that
Okay,
sample.
so here's my
He-
guess,
he
though.
has a guess.
Here's my
Okay.
guess. Because it's always sounded a lot like Benny and the Jets to me.
Still no.
Dude, it's...
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna guess it.
Well, I
unless
know
you
Benny
have-
and the Jets was my guess. That was it.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
not
have,
gonna.
like-
we don't have a list that we're gonna. Like,
I mean, there's a clue. It was
Oh, wait, yeah, you did give a clue.
It has
it was
moving
a,
in it, right?
It was a song called "Moving On Up," I think, by George Duke.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
know
a
who
George
that
Duke
is.
fan either. I randomly heard it, and one of the ways I work is just, you know, when I don't feel like putting MIDI down or like starting from scratch, I just start dropping songs and samples into my software and just chopping them up and see what happens. So I mean, the cool thing is the song "Movin'," the use of the sample sounds so different that it's good that no one can guess it or recognize it. And when you hear the original, yeah, you can tell that I sampled it, but it's, you know, it's a different progression and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
for sure. For
But
sure.
that was started on like a bus ride actually to work. This was back when I had still had my job, and I was just messing around. And after like that, chopping up that sample, I knew that like that was the heavy lifting.
Okay.
Even just
Okay.
that little riff.
Yeah.
And the rest of the song could, you know, sort of write itself.
Yeah.
But like that was the thing that was going to be the unique thing about that song.
Yeah, because you also, let me see if I get this one right. Dollar signs, Rihanna's Poured Up.
Yeah. Well, that's easy.
Well, come on, man. Give me some credit.
Yeah,
I
that's easy.
bet 9 out of 10 people would hear that.
Yeah.
No, probably not 9 out of 10.
Which is why I
would
can't
get
put it on Spotify. Or
That's what
Okay,
I was.
we were gonna ask.
That
about
was a real
that.
question.
Yeah.
Is
because
like,
I wouldn't want to confront trying to get that sample.
you haven't met
cleared.
Rihanna?
I mean,
Rihanna
in some
didn't
ways,
give you a
it's
blessing.
like it's almost a remix, I guess. It could be called one, I think, but maybe
Is there like a actual
I don't know. I don't
line
know
of
where you draw
difference
the
there?
line.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
But so that's like not a clear thing, and the reason that it can be out is because it's
Yeah, it's just on
something
SoundCloud.
yeah, and that's why.
Yeah, I don't think they have like detection software that combs songs for
Right.
like samples and stuff. And
Yeah.
either that song's not in it or it's just changed enough that they can't pick up on it. Or I'm not really sure because I've had a lot of other remixes taken down.
Right.
But not
Drake
that one
remix?
For some reason. Drake remix got taken
Yeah.
down.
R.I.P.
Inner Bloom remix got taken down. But it's all right. I mean, I know
Not
it
bummed
can
about it.
happen. I don't get bummed about it.
So have you had to go through the process of getting things totally cleared then?
Well, for all the ones that got taken down, we always tried to get it back up by like seeing who we could get in touch with on the label side. But it's such an opaque system there that it just never happens.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
But like a song that you put out and had and is still up there, you know, did you go through the process of
Oh, I've
getting
never
that?
used a sample in an original song that I plan to sell and make money off of.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
That has uncleared samples.
So
in it.
all the ones that had samples were only like
That was just
remixes or stuff
SoundCloud,
that
free
SoundCloud.
download, like
Huh.
Yeah.
not monetizing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Because I wouldn't want someone to do that with my music.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
out of respect.
Actually, I
for
really
fruit.
don't mind if someone does that.
Really?
I take that back. That would be cool.
Are there
Yeah,
any-
people can use the music and do whatever they want with it.
Are
But
there-
I understand. I just don't want to attract that kind of attention from the labels.
That
Yeah.
makes
That
sense.
sounds scary. Lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lawyers, man.
Yeah.
you
Look
do
at
not
ya.
want to deal with that.
Oh, I know.
All right. So going back a little bit to what you had mentioned before, you originally went by KRANE without the A.
That's one way to say it.
How is that what it was supposed to be pronounced as?
Well,
That's the question first.
I didn't really think it through too much. So when I mean the whole KRANE thing was sort of an accident. I really didn't know the scene. I never went to clubs or festivals. I didn't realize people got paid to like DJ. Like I remember my brother one day showed me SoundCloud and Team Supreme and what was going on, and I've just always been into music and I was just kind of blown away by it. And at the time, I remember wanting like a new hobby, and I knew a friend that sort of made electronic music. I just asked him what software he used. I picked up Ableton, and I just made beats totally for fun. And at that time, SoundCloud didn't let you double up on the name. There was already a KRANE account.
Yep.
Now you can double up, but back then you couldn't. So I remember I took out the A because I just didn't want it to be the same. But I wasn't really thinking it through. I was not thinking that this is a career move. You know, had I had that foresight, I probably would have asked people like, "Hey, how do you pronounce this?" Like smattering of letters, and then they would have said all sorts of things because I got like Carney and Carne and KRANE
French
and Kearney and Kern and all these. And as soon as I got multiple answers, I would have said, "This is a terrible name."
Yeah,
because I would.
No one knows what your name is.
Yeah, so it just got to the point where people would ask me, and I would just say, you know, however you want to say it is fine, because I don't want to be a jerk and say like, "Oh, well, it's supposed to be KRANE. You're mispronouncing it." Because honestly, if someone gave me those letters, I would mispronounce it. So I just procrastinated a long time on adding the A back in, but it was always the plan.
So it was always the plan.
Yeah.
So was there any like fear of like losing momentum or like fans in that process? Of,
not losing fans, but just like it looking
weird.
Just not being in control of the story, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they change names, it's an effort to kickstart, or it's kind of, I think people are afraid it looks like an admission that their career, their reputation's not where they want it to be, so suddenly they change their name.
or something.
Yeah, or doing a new sound or something. So I just didn't want people thinking that. I actually liked the story that like, hey, this was an accident and I've just procrastinated on it, but like I need to put the A back in because I want this to be my job now. And I'm sorry to all the people that didn't know how to pronounce my name.
But I mean, you don't think you could have just stuck with it and kind of
made it your
I
made
totally
it
could have. I could have.
So you decided
but
it
I was
wasn't
also
worth
tired
it.
of talking about
Yeah,
it.
you just
I'm
want
sorry that we brought this up.
And I would see like on
this was real fun for you
thanks, guys.
Got
Next
off
question.
on the wrong
No,
foot.
I would just see like, you know, once in a while in the comments people debating about how to say it and that sort of thing, and I just felt bad. I was like, someone is going to feel like they lost that argument, and they're probably both wrong because it's not their fault, it's my fault. So yeah, so it was fun changing it though.
Yeah,
that's how I've always felt with Mo or Moo from, you know, the Danish singer.
Oh yeah.
I still to this day don't.
Is it Moo?
I think it's
Okay,
Moo. I think it's.
I've heard that it's
supposed
something
to
that
be
if you-
Moo in like.
it's supposed to be like moi, but like it's a letter that we can't that's not in the English
we can't say
language.
it.
So we're not used to saying it.
Yeah, the O with the crisscross.
I've heard that she's totally fine with just Mo though.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think it's one of those things where
fuck
I don't know if she thought about that originally, and then she's kind of stuck with it and was like, yeah, it's fine. Like she doesn't care, but
I don't know. It
you
looks
know.
cool with the.
yeah,
What?
no, I mean
Yeah.
it does.
It looks awesome.
But I
Check,
just
but
wonder
check.
if I wonder if she thought about the process of like, oh, people might not be able to say this and no.
Or there's the dude Kid, and it's K question mark
Yeah.
D, which I always thought was just scary and risky. Because
How do you? I mean, yeah, I guess Googling
I
it.
see whenever I see people with like missing vowels and letter, and you know, especially up and comers, I always kind of like find a way to
Boy,
tell
let me
them,
tell you
like,
something.
You know, when I was your age,
It's like the birds and the bees conversation for young producers.
you're not gonna be happy with this.
Yeah, it's gonna come back to get you. There are people that have made it their own though.
Totally.
But like Chet Faker, like what does he go by now? Nick Murphy?
Oh, I have
Nick
no
Murphy?
idea.
Oh yeah, he totally changed his name like at the height of his career, and I feel like it hasn't helped him out.
Yeah.
Because when you change to be, you know, it's not a huge change. So I know that we're kind of harping on this topic, but I think it's an interesting thing. Any idea, you know, the idea of like totally changing part of your artistic identity as you're on the rise. Like there has to be some fear of like, oh, there's literally people that won't recognize me.
I think, but it wound up being a positive thing. I think I still haven't been able to change my Twitter handle. That's been a hassle. But everything else, it was a logistic headache to like change the Spotify account. But after it was all said and done, you know,
It's just easier.
people like talking about it and like laughing about it and joking about it. So it gave people material, I think, to make fun of me a little bit too, which is always fun. So
That was good.
yeah,
You gotta make your own jokes at yourself.
yeah.
When you did make the change when music became your full-time job, what was that decision like? Like what was not only just like, oh, here I decided to do it, but like what were some of the big obstacles that you were like considering before, and then you surpassed them, and then you were like, all right, I'm a full-time musician now?
I mean, I did it. It wasn't like a huge plunge. I did it at the point at which I was working full time, squeezing in music, before work, after work, sometimes during work. Nice. And it was at the point where like I could take a step back. I could look at, streaming income and selling samples, and then the shows coming in and sort of project out what it was going to be like. And, it was going to be a hit, but I could definitely survive doing it. So I was more careful. I'm sort of a planner with that stuff. So I know a lot of other people don't have that luxury. And, it was really hard for me to, like, take that risk, to, like, not give up, but, like, hit pause potentially or stop a whole nother career that, I went to school for design, and I was in a really good place with that career. And this was doing something totally different. So that was somewhat scary, but I think that's also what sort of attracted me to it. I really liked the idea that I was about to do something that if you had told me I was going to do it 3 years prior, not only would I not believe you, I really wouldn't even know what you were talking about. Like, that's how little I knew about the scene. And that was, like, kind of funny. I remember when I got my first booking while I had my job, I was utterly confused, because if you don't know that, like, producers DJ, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense unless you've seen it and you get used to it. And so I just thought it was really funny. I was, my only experience with DJs was like bar mitzvahs and weddings. And
have you ever DJ'd a bar mitzvah?
No.
What about a wedding?
No, God, no.
You open to it?
No, that would be like way more nerve wracking. Because you would like know the people and they'd be there, and you really need to like. And
you have
the right
to
music.
You have to make sure the bride and groom are happy at those things. Like you literally have to play what they say.
I can make everyone totally unhappy.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter.
It's like I can never see them again. And it's fine.
Yeah. And
well, maybe, hopefully. That's what I tell myself.
That's good.
But yeah, so the transition, it was really fun. It was exciting. And I was worried that I was gonna go from, having this job and like pressure to do work, and I didn't know how I was gonna be like self-employed, because all of a sudden I'm home by myself. No one knows if I'm not working. I have a manager, but like I can pretty much get away with whatever.
Yeah.
And I was worried, imagining myself not having good work ethic, but totally the opposite happens. And I realized that, being a producer, doing something that I really care about, that has my name on it, and that I'm only accountable really to myself for, I like put so much more effort and care into it. So it was kind of immediately gratifying.
Your story is kind of pretty unique for someone that was literally working full-time job while already starting to be, fairly successful as a producer. A lot of times people kind of start off and just decide to go full into music before they really have much success. What kind of advice do you think you would give to just even yourself or anyone else that is working a 9-to-5 or whatever job and is starting to get into music? Like, would you have done anything different, you think? I
don't think I would have done anything different, and that is because I knew what the lifestyle I wanted to sustain was. I knew how much I needed to earn in order to do that, and how much I was willing to give up, and I knew how much I had saved. And so, I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to quit my job. I have enough with what I think I'm going to make, or what I'm making now, which is not much, to get through that year. And then I would see where things were going. And if I wasn't feeling optimistic about it, then I'd go back, I'd get another job. And I wasn't going to stop doing music, but, I had that pressure. And I guess that was really helpful to alleviate the stress. Because I think the stressful part is the ambiguity. Like, what does the future look like? And so, I don't know. I mean, there's always a risk, but I think that's also kind of the most exciting thing. So I guess it would just be, figure out what you need, and for that initial period where you're probably not, quote, making it, whatever that means to the individual.
Yeah.
And excuse me. And then set some benchmarks. Say like, hey, if this isn't paying my bills in X amount of months or years or whatever, then I'm going to need to find something else. And that doesn't mean leaving music, because at the end of the day, for me, it's just about being involved in music. I never had dreams and aspirations of being a celebrity or famous or anything like that, and I don't consider myself at all one. And in fact, I'm not even sure I'd really want that inevitably, that I'd be like recognized even, but it's just about being involved in music, because I can I can spend all day thinking about music and listening to music and hopefully making music too. I don't know if that
You
was
sound like
really,
a planner.
Yeah.
You
I'm
like
a
to
bit
plan
of a
shit
planner.
out. Yeah, yeah. I imagine, I'm not an artist, but I imagine a lot of musicians, especially when kind of the ease of making electronic music via laptop
totally.
became a thing. There were probably hundreds and thousands of kids all over the country that drop whatever I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's not a bad thing. And I'm sure that there's so many success stories out of that. But I don't think that it's necessarily the most strategic move.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like for me, it helped to have a job to do it, and that provided like limited amount of time for me to work on music. So I had to learn how to be really efficient and do things quickly and have deadlines for myself, because I didn't have just endless days to like kick around an idea for a beat. I wanted to get something out this month. I don't have that much time. And so in some ways, like, you know, having competing interests for your time actually like liberated me and made me like motivated me to get stuff done. So I don't know. I mean, that's not going to work for everyone, but for me, that really helped me, I think. And I still even kind of set deadlines for myself now, and I like to plan out well in advance what the release is and when I need to get things done, because that like just pushes me to stay on top of things and be
You're
productive.
like your own manager.
I don't think my manager.
I don't think they would
Manager
like
would
that.
disagree,
but
but-
I just imagine from a manager's perspective, they're probably like, awesome. I don't have to corral this kid to get music out by this date or that date. You know, you kind of you're
that's
self motivated.
That's
you
true.
know?
I mean, my manager helped me pull back a little bit, and not. There was a time when it was like releasing so much music, and it was just even half done stuff or whatever, and there's a time for that for sure, I think. And then he helped me rein it back a little bit, encouraged me to spend a little bit more time on each song, be a little more careful about the songs I was going to release and what they'd say and that sort of thing. So that's helpful too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of going with that. So you, like you said, originally were releasing a lot of music,
Yeah.
a lot of singles or remixes and stuff. Do you think it's important for artists or producers specifically to also do that, but also put out full projects, whether it be an EP or an album?
All I really know is what I did, because I've seen people in different situations make either successful. So, like Mr. Carmack put out so much music, and just it seemed like every other day there was a new beat. And there was never like one song to point to and be like, that was his breakaway moment. It was almost with just the amount of music he put out that was so exciting. And then there are people that put out, one song every 6 months, and there's so much care into the release of that song and the story and how it goes out that does, the work that 30 smaller songs would have done. So I don't think from my naive and not that knowledgeable opinion, I don't think there's one way, but I do think it helps to have some intent to either decide, hey, I'm going to treat SoundCloud like my blog. I'm going to put out tons of stuff. I'm going to learn what sticks and what doesn't. I'm not going to overthink it. And that's just going to be how I do things, because that's the kind of producer I want people to know me as. Versus, you could swing the total opposite direction and just like, I'm going to put out a very limited amount of highly, manicured songs, and that's going to be what I'm known for. And like, both can be completely successful.
Do you feel like the single route devalues like music in electronic? I mean, you just see a lot of these, and it was more of an issue like a few years ago when people were just churning out the same song as a single, just regurgitated in like a different key. And it seemed like it kind of, how the EDM, the idea of EDM, the bubble bursting or whatever, seems like that played a part into that whole conversation. Do you feel like it devalues the genre, or, makes it more shallow?
Not really.
No?
I mean, I don't like the idea that like I'm imposing an agenda on listeners. I like the idea that I'm kind of doing my thing, and if people like it, I get feedback from them, and it helps guide me a little bit. But for the most part, I think the audience decides what the audience dictates more than the producer community of like whether, for example, singles are the route or more formal projects or something like that. In a lot of ways, I think producers like to think that they're really creating the culture and they're really setting the tone. But I think people are actually, whether they realize it or not, responding a lot more to what audiences want. And I think when it comes to electronic music and EDM, you know, audiences are wanting more and they're wanting newness. And I think it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of what it is. Like hearing sounds that came from synths and computers, I think this is totally uninformed in some ways. This is just my hypothesis.
You're a player in
that it's
in the
going
genre.
from a genre or a specific sound to like an instrument, you know? And so, yeah, I'm always surprised, like, I think how open-minded most audiences are. There's not like the EDM audience member that only listens to a certain sound. They're actually pretty open to things. That was a long-winded answer.
No,
So I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but yeah, singles
totally
versus
covered
albums.
it.
I don't know, because I did both, and I think singles are really, really fun, and they're more casual, and they're, you know, lower risk and exciting in their own way. But like putting together an album, trying to, you know, create something that people could listen to beginning to end and get immersed in more is really fun too. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Obviously, there's just like two different undertakings.
I love
there.
singles because I can release them faster, and like I still want to just chuck up beats every week, and I miss that a little bit. But I don't want to inundate people too and like tire them out. There's so much music and so many releases going out. You know, I don't want to like. I want to spend a little bit more time, but yeah, I mean, I like them both. I think now I work on singles and remixes, but there are certain things that I earmark for, like, you know, this is starting to feel like a collection, and I want to dedicate some months to just these.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really sure.
It's cool. It's cool.
Well, you also have another kind of project that's pretty popular and famous, and you've asked a lot about, which is the Sessions project. I guess first, for listeners that might not know, can you just quickly explain what it is?
So around the time when, you know, I was kind of pulling back on releases and trying to
getting pulled back on
or
releasing.
getting pulled back, but like also challenging myself to like spend a bit more time on each song because I was in the habit of like finishing a song in a couple days and posting it. I wanted an outlet to still have a little bit of like, you know, like the sandbox. Like I could be a little more casual and just play around a little bit more. Plus, I loved just collaborating with lots of different people and seeing how they work and then what can happen. So Sessions started as an idea that, you know, what if I just opened my inbox? I was already getting tons of emails of people wanting to send demos and beats, and, you know, I would open my inbox for a week. People can send in like their half-finished songs. I'll pick 5 of them, no matter who they are, what genre, how many followers. I don't really care. Just gonna pick my favorite of the demos or the ones that I know what to do with. Try to finish them with that person as fast as possible, and then put them out.
Just online, working.
Yeah,
on it
just
with
on SoundCloud and.
No, I mean working with the producer.
Oh yeah, just on,
online.
like just sending the project file
Back and forth
if they're on Ableton, or you know what are called stems if they're in a different software. But yeah, just passing them back and forth and seeing what could come of it. And I'm just finishing the 5th round of it, and every time it's just incredible. Like. This round, I think I got like 1,000 submissions. I had a spreadsheet of all the songs that I thought like these are good songs. This is like I would be proud to have started this song. And I think there was like 80 of them or maybe even more. I don't remember, but it's overwhelming. And then from that, I have to like just go with my gut. It's not a contest. It's not what are the best songs. I just have to pick the 5 that I feel like I know just what to do with it, or it's just like, oh, I've got like 10 ideas. And it's so humbling though, because all of these kids making this music, or not even kids, whoever they are, with like 1,000 followers on SoundCloud, all producing such incredible music. So it's scary too, because there's all these people that can just step into my shoes.
Competitive.
Totally. And but it's also really inspiring. I like it. Yeah, I'm really excited about this round as well. They seem to like, I get better and better at working on them with other people too as time goes on. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, partly, I have really enjoyed the Sessions project, mostly because we've used SoundCloud for a long time
Big SoundCloud
to find
guys.
artists. And in the last, whatever you want to call it, year or so, you've kind of noticed that it's just been harder and harder to find stuff. To flow.
It's oversaturated.
There's
It's
oversaturated.
surely.
There's less people using SoundCloud, more people on like Spotify and whatever. So I appreciate, for example, some project like this being on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And
Curated.
You curate it and you put people like me on to other producers and small artists that I might honestly have never found, and it would have been hard to find. So I personally have enjoyed that. But
Same.
do you think like more artists or like labels or collectives, do you think they have like more of a responsibility to kind of do similar things? Not a
No.
responsibility, but like I just feel like a lot of producers came up through SoundCloud and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and sometimes it feels like maybe they're not putting each other on as much as they could.
Totally. I mean, to be honest, like I don't think anyone has a responsibility to help anyone else, but I do think that most people feel good when they do. And I think people have a responsibility to figure out what makes them happy and not be greedy, because I don't think greedy people feel happy. Honestly, it's selfish. Like doing the sessions project makes me feel good, and it's just fun. And I get to work on all these amazing songs and just cherry pick what I want to work on, and that's really cool too. So I feel lucky that like all these people are sharing their rough songs with me, because that's like, I know what it takes to come up with a good idea or an idea that you think is good or worthwhile to pursue with a song, and that's like a special thing. I sketch tons and tons of beats, and then when I get one that I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be like a single, like this is good, you get very protective of it. It's scary to like hand it to any other producer because it feels like your precious little thing, and that can be very scary. So I feel lucky to do it, and that's a good feeling. So other artists or producers, like, if they don't want to do stuff like that, I don't think they have a responsibility. But I do think the people that do spend time to highlight others, to lift other people up, that it does feel good, and I think it does benefit them too.
Yeah,
Because,
definitely.
whether that's because they get to make music with some of those people later on, or because honestly, you never know who's going to be this next amazing artist, and you get to be a part of their community too, and along for the ride a little bit if you help them out in the interim or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, two questions: biggest quote unquote success story of someone you met through sessions, and did you ever have any weird, awkward encounters with people you met?
I don't know if I have big success stories from sessions.
Like, is there ever that you look back on like the first round and you had like this weird like Lido song that was sitting there that I don't know when you I
No.
forget when you started it.
I don't think anyone in sessions has like all of a sudden like.
graduated from the program. To,
But I think it's there's some people that's very viable that they could.
Yeah. You want to throw
for
a couple names out?
Well, one of my favorites from the sessions is this kid Jupe, who I kind of consider a friend.
J-U-U.
Jupe.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, and he's just really, really talented, and with most of these guys, like we still send each other like just what we're working on to kind of stay updated and provide feedback and input. Yeah, I'm really excited about most of the people and what they're doing. This one guy, Sober Rob, came through,
Yeah.
and like his music recently has been so cool because his music was always really good, but it's feeling more and more like he's writing like whole songs now, and that's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What about any like weird interactions you had with people?
Yeah,
Obviously you don't have to name names or.
I'm not going to name names.
That's good.
I'm
That's
not going to
good.
get
That's
into
good.
that. Yeah, and I don't even want to talk about the stories because if that
Okay, let's
person's
not.
listening,
That's
then
true.
I don't want them to
Fair
feel
enough.
bad.
Look at that. Nice guy
Yeah.
on the pod. I like that.
Yeah.
Not throwing anyone under
Nothing
the bus.
too weird.
That's really good. Well, now that you are a full-time musician, it's a question we like to ask people that have made the jump and are, still climbing the quote-unquote ladder. What is the most frustrating misconception about being a full-time artist?
Oh, frustrating misconception.
Yeah. Most specifically, frustrating misconception that your fans might not understand.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really frustrated by misconceptions. I mean, I think I can think of some that I've seen. Not that like everyone has, but I've seen some people have. One is that touring is not work. I mean, the shows are always fun when you're on stage and you're at the venue. Like that doesn't feel like work. But to get to that point, you've taken however many flights, you've stayed in so many hotels.
You got to sit down on the podcast.
There
with
is
these
a
guys.
sacrifice that you're making to do that, and that namely is you're sacrificing seeing your friends and family and home as much as people who have, you know, jobs near their houses have. And for some people, that's not a big deal. But for me, and I know a lot of other people, like that's the draining thing.
Yeah.
I guess the other one is that like the internet's not that anonymous. It's that we see your tweets and your subtweets and we see your comments, and I don't read them too much, but like, you know, I know some people that are bigger than me that really read them, you know, and take them to heart, and that you know, the confident persona I think that is projected out in the world by a lot of people in my position is not so much reality. Most people are, you know, they're just people.
Yeah.
Good.
But I don't, all these, these don't bother me, these misconceptions. I understand them.
That's good.
So, I mean, it's kind of similar to that. Do you ever, you know, kind of get the questions of like what's happening during a DJ set? I mean, you kind of said yourself when you first started, you weren't quite sure what producers did when they DJ'd.
Yeah.
Do you
Well, I
like?
knew DJs DJ.
Yeah, no,
Right.
producers.
I just
mean,
didn't know what producers did.
Yeah.
Like, do
a
you
lot of
ever-
people don't know that there's a
Yeah,
vast difference.
That there's a
between those
difference,
things, you know.
Like,
Yeah.
do you ever encounter that problem where people, you know, ask you like, well, like, what do you
Oh,
really
you're just hitting
do?
play
Like
up
my
there?
Yeah, or
parents.
just hitting
You just
play
hit-
up there,
Or like my parents. Who
Yeah.
are like,
No, I'm sure.
or yeah, or people
Your
that
parents
genuinely, like you said,
aren't in
don't
the
know.
know.
Do I encounter that? Not really. I don't know. Maybe I have encountered it and I just don't pay
Like,
attention.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
it just seems like such a
people do the
conversation
same
that
thing for
happens.
musicians, though. Like, oh, his guitar.
Oh, yeah,
plugged in.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Whatever.
absolutely.
And honestly,
Oh,
like,
there's a
I'm a
backtrack, so he's
musician.
not
I
singing.
grew up playing guitar, and you know, in a lot of ways, if I was playing the same 10 or 12 songs over and over again, and now had played this one song 500,000 times because I recorded it on the album and I made the song and now I'm playing it live every night. Like, I'm a robot at that point. I mean, I'm putting my heart into it, but like the muscle memory is so strong. And I'm more nervous and more kind of on edge and present as a result when I'm DJing, because it is different in some ways, you know, when things aren't as pre-planned and I'm not really sure what's going to happen. And I'm probably not as good at it as I am a guitar player. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you feel like DJs are that question is asked unfairly, like an unfair amount versus
No.
bands, indie rock, anything like that? You
I
feel
think
like it's
people are asking
warranted,
the questions because they don't know,
right?
or they're just presuming to know. But I actually don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on whether that's like, you know, we are the misunderstood.
It just feels like
DJs.
that.
I mean, like, come on. I don't know.
I've just heard so
get
many
over it.
stories of,
we
like-
get to have so much fun with this job, and if you really love music and you're getting to do music for work, well, just kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
deal with it. And if you hate those questions, then go come up with a live set.
Find a way to address it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they
Makes
really
sense.
bother you.
That makes sense. That's cool.
I mean, you kind of mentioned before that you were pretty involved with your visuals previously, you know, your artwork. Seems like you've scaled back a little bit, but you were involved with creating your own merch and stuff. What do you think is like kind of the next step for your KRANE branding or experience?
Well, I don't have any merch yet, but I've been working with a couple really talented designers in LA on that, and I've always been really happy with all the positive feedback I get from, I guess, the visual side of the project. And I think for me, and this year especially, I want to spend a little bit more forethought and time proliferating that out to things like merchandise and apparel. And it doesn't even need to be that much about me as a, you know, producer DJ. It can just be about making cool shit.
Yeah.
So that's definitely happening right now, and I'm hoping, you know, we'll get to production on apparel and stuff pretty soon. But then also the, you know, as this keeps growing, you know, seeing that in the visual experiment or experience for live shows is really important. And then, yeah, just doing like art things too, you know, videos and just more content that doesn't necessarily need to be all about the music or announcing a show or announcing a release, but it's just something I enjoy doing, and I think it's something that, you know, that people really that resonates with people. So
Yeah. Up until this point, have had like if I were to go to a show, your show tonight maybe, and I saw visuals. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be your own visuals tonight, but
if they got the email,
boom, if they got
the attachment,
they
with the
better
zip
have.
file.
There you go. But
Supposed to check.
is that like in that zip file? Is all that
Yeah,
artwork
those
yours?
are right now. It's a modest visual package, but it is something that I worked with someone on and
Cool.
didn't execute myself. But continuing that, and as the shows get bigger and the budgets get bigger, being able to provide more of an immersive experience for those exactly. Yeah, and then like bringing on a VJ or there's people like G Jones that actually run their visuals from the
From the
stage, and I'd
stage,
like
yeah.
to do that as well. I mean,
He's cool.
very cool.
I saw he played the club that I work at.
Yeah.
Like last August or something. It was, whew, it's
But
trippy.
yeah,
It's cool.
I mean, I remember as a kid, like I grew up listening to like a lot of metal and gothy stuff, and there were like people like Marilyn Manson or Tool or White Zombie that took a lot of effort on the visual side, and I just remember as a kid how much that affected me and made me like really enamored with the music as well, but just the whole experience around it and opening up CDs and the packaging, and so it's about thinking of like what's the 2018 version of that.
That's cool.
Do you think, do you think fans that don't get to go to a show of yours or something are kind of missing out in a way of the full expression of what
Yes.
you're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, this music is made to be heard in a certain environment at a certain volume.
A bar mitzvah?
Yeah, it's really. I mean, when you hear the trap version of the Horror live, or the Hava Nagila, it's
Okay, could you real pause? Could you actually flip the? Could you? Actually flip
I'm
the
sure
door?
people have already
Could you-
done it.
yeah?
Yes, definitely. We'll think about
2018,
that.
the year
yeah.
that KRANE drops the fucking
Yeah,
bar
that
mitzvah
will be when
remix.
my career tanks.
No.
And I am doing the bar
You
mitzvah.
skyrocket, dude.
Yeah.
You
Big announcement. He
skyrocket.
just announced new single.
Yeah.
dropped it, released on the pod. You can release it on the pod. We'll do it.
Yeah, there
That'd
we
be
go.
So cool.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely are missing out on something because this music is designed for those venues.
Dance.
Yeah, but it is. I'm also cognizant that most of the people are listening to this on headphones and stuff, and there have been songs specifically that I remember hearing at home or listening on my monitors or headphones and like not really getting it until I was at a show and heard a DJ play it. And then suddenly appreciating a song in a whole different way. So I try to balance both though, because I also know, well, most of the times I listen to music or not at shows too. So
Good.
yeah.
We'll move on to the final column of the interview. This is called Personal, where we try to ask you questions you hopefully have never been asked. You go on at midnight?
Oh yeah, I'm good on
Okay,
time.
cool. Just making sure. But we have more questions of the personal part than we normally do. So
Okay.
we won't take too long.
But
there.
they're short.
They're short. They might not be short. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Wow, my cell phone.
Unless you have a landline or phone book.
Oh, the mobile.
The old mobile
In my,
cellular device.
My Razor.
Dude.
I don't. Most famous person. I'm
Most
looking at the
famous
contacts
person.
right now.
That's good.
Oh, the very first one is A-Track. Okay.
Ooh, you want
there
to
you
call
go.
him?
That's-
You want to call him?
No,
Would
we
he-
don't have that kind of relationship.
would he answer?
I don't know why I have his phone number.
Oh, does he have your number?
He should. I think we texted a little bit
Oh,
once.
nice.
We
I met
did
him
a
once. He's a
little
nice guy.
texting. He's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met
Yeah,
him
that's
once.
cool.
He's so nice.
Anybody else? That was a pretty good one though.
I don't. I mean, I think that's the most.
That was it,
No,
dude. You
that's-
can go out on A-Track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had people that just are like, yeah, I don't have anyone famous in my phone when we know that they do.
Yeah. No, I think that's going
It's
to be
good. That's
head and
a
shoulders
pretty good one to
above
go out on. Not
all
gonna
the
lie.
other losers I know.
Have you? Which three fellow producers would be in your version of Charlie XCX's video for Boys?
I've never seen that video.
You never
What's
seen the
that?
video?
Never seen
No.
that video?
She just basically the song is called Boys, but she picks like 48 or you get that 48 or 50 like cool, attractive guys that essentially
Famous guys.
take the role of like the attractive woman in a music video, and they're like in front of. They're like holding puppies and shit.
I still don't even
That's good.
understand the question. Wait, who would I give a
So-
puppy to?
No.
Who would you put on your version of that music video?
Why am I putting next question, guys.
We'll cut that one.
I don't even know.
We'll cut that
yeah.
one.
I don't know
We were
where we're
hoping you
going
know
with
that.
this.
Oh, we've got a segment we do with all of our guests. It's called Dad Jokes with KRANE.
Okay.
So how do you make a tissue dance?
How?
You put a little boogie in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good. You got
that.
any good dad jokes? You're a big dad joke guy, aren't you?
No.
What?
No.
You don't like dad jokes?
No, I love dad jokes.
But you don't
I just
have
don't
any, like-
have any in my repertoire.
Okay, that's fine. This is going downhill quickly. It's spiraling out of control.
I think I probably do, but like it's the issue like when I open Netflix to try to find a movie and there's 20 movies I want to see, but all of a sudden when I'm staring down the barrel of the
It's
Netflix
impossible to
gun,
pick.
I just freeze up.
And then you end up putting on The Office.
I
That's
turn
like-
off the
that's-
TV.
yeah.
I just get my
That's good.
Kindle. Yeah,
That's
pick up the
good.
Kindle.
I like that. The old Kindle. Let out.
All right. What do you think is higher, the percentage of millennials that follow you on Twitter or the percentage of men that follow you on Twitter?
What millennials is what age?
Okay, now we're getting.
I'm not a
20
millennial. I think.
22 to.
I think probably.
29.
I think my demographic skews pretty male, so I'm gonna go with men.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's
Actually
pretty
correct.
close.
Oh,
77%.
wow.
And
Versus
then
I need more
73.
music for the ladies, I guess.
good.
73% of millennials follow
Okay.
you.
It's just a guy's night out. You go to
Yeah.
a Crane show. And
I'm just a bro.
just dig it.
Bros love me.
Well, let's hope this goes over well. Fuck, marry, kill, RL Grime, Nightmare, or Bauer.
Oh,
Also, your friend Alexander Lewis had never heard "fuck, marry, kill" before. We debuted what that is. Didn't we?
I'm gonna call it make love, marry,
Okay,
kill.
that's fine. That's cool.
Um,
Oh yeah, we're light on the swearing. Sorry.
that's so brutal. I have to answer this though.
You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
I guess I would kill RL Grime because I feel like he's just at the peak right now.
He's balling.
Like he's gonna go out happy. It's a favor. It's like
Yeah.
because you know what? He's gonna go out happy. He's lived a full life musically. I think he's good to go. I think I'd marry Bauer. He's just such a nice, kind
Nice
man.
guy?
Yeah, he
That's
is
good.
so nice.
That's good.
And then I would. I lived on a bus with Tyler, so I already feel very
Oh.
comfortable with him physically
There you go.
in close proximity.
That's cool.
So I guess the next step would be lovemaking.
I like it.
Sorry,
With him.
Tyler.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Homemade cereal or granola?
Homemade cereal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a thing where you've
I
made cereal and granola before?
well, both. Yeah, I had a phase,
You big-
and I still
big
pull
cereal
out the granola recipe. It's really, it's like this piece of paper I've had since college with lots of scratches on it, where I like cooking a lot. So I have,
good.
I got my granola recipe.
What's in it? You got anything good?
It's
Or is it a
it's
secret
about
recipe?
it's just about the ratios.
Okay.
It's
there you
just
go.
your standard granola. Honey
Balance.
is important though.
Yeah, that's good. Well, this is the last one that we always end on. And
Okay.
again, as I always say, we'll probably have a better question to end on at one point, but not today. Have you ever heard the theory of Avril Lavigne being dead or alive?
No.
Never. You're not a big. It doesn't seem like you.
I've told you, I just got
No,
into
I
this
like
music
it.
thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, then we'll totally scratch that, and we can. But the theory is that.
What's the theory?
Yeah. See, I got you hooked. The theory is that
Is she alive though?
that's what we don't know.
We don't know.
There is a very good conspiracy theory out there that in 2003, Avril Lavigne committed suicide after her grandfather passed away. The suicide part is obviously the theory here.
Okay.
But she was very. It is confirmed that before. That at one time her record label had a doppelganger that looked exactly like her, and because Avril didn't like dealing with the paparazzi, at the big events they would send this fake Avril out and have the real Avril come through the back or whatever.
Yeah.
Diversion. The idea is that the record label was at such a hit, was finding so much success with Avril that when she committed suicide, they just replaced her with the fake Avril. The next record is called Under My Skin. There's many photos of her freckles being different versus the real one and versus the new one.
Her eyes looking
Her
slightly
eyes are
different,
tilted
slant.
differently. Her handwriting's totally different, and the music is drastically different from what it was.
I mean, I have no comment on it. I know nothing about Avril Lavigne.
Do you have any conspiracy theories that you're into, though?
No, but I am really into people who have conspiracy theories because I find it really interesting, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all.
There's none you believe in.
No, none.
Could you? What about Avril? Do you think
I mean,
it
they
be
could
real?
all be true. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe. I don't think I'm right.
That's good.
I don't have like counter theories. I just go with the like. I don't really know what happens in 9/11, and we're never gonna know. But I don't really want you to answer that question for. I like the not knowing.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
find it so fascinating. People with like who are so certain about their theories.
We're only into the Avril one. We don't
My
really
favorite,
get
I
others.
love History Channel. I have to like be in a lot of hotels for touring. Inevitably, I find myself after my show back in my hotel room at 1 or 2 a.m. And I've discovered
Rockstar
the
lifestyle.
History Channel after one is just all conspiracy theories.
Yeah?
It's the strangest thing. Yeah. It's just back-to-back shows about conspiracy theories, presenting them as facts. And
God, the History Channel's gone so well.
yeah, so I do watch a lot
Very
of stuff about
historic.
conspiracy theories.
Literally, shows on the History Channel that are not about history.
Yeah.
Like unconfirmed events that have happened.
Yeah, I mean, you should watch the History Channel now. I don't know what happened
should.
to it, but I thought it was
I don't have
history.
cable.
It's not anymore. It's like aliens made the pyramids.
Isn't like Pawn
and-
Stars on the History Channel too? Like
Is it?
I think so. Which is not.
I heard it's like part of the Republican propaganda arm, actually.
Ooh.
Follow the money. That's
That
my
sounds like
conspiracy
that-
theory.
that was
Okay,
gonna say,
there you go. Found
That's
it.
meta.
You know that's going to
Conspiracy
be the
theory about a
title.
channel.
The title of your
that-
episode is going to be like
Hawks
our episode with
conspiracy
Crane,
theories.
where he discovered his own conspiracy
Wow.
theory.
Okay.
We don't
Well, I
need to-
learned something today.
There we go. That's
About
all.
myself.
That's all we asked for.
That feels like the perfect spot to end the interview. Thank you so much for
Thank
chatting
you
with
guys
us,
for
man.
having me. This
Appreciate
was
it.
fun.
Yeah. Woo!
That was our interview with Crane.
Crane with a K.
Yes.
Spell it right, baby.
And an A.
And an N and an E
Yep.
and an R. That was an awesome interview. Thanks again to Zach for sitting down and chatting with us in our sketchy office. He
Yeah.
was a trustworthy guy who trusted two sketchy looking guys to chat
Absolutely.
with him. That was
Thanks to Eric for helping
Yep.
set it up.
Big thanks to Eric
Yeah.
for setting that one up. That was awesome. We'll be back next week for another episode of All My Friends.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Love y'all. Remember to subscribe, download,
Oh, yeah.
resubscribe.
Yeah, tell
Tell
all your friends about this podcast. Like, if you're still listening right now, you need to tell 10 friends. Tell 10 friends about the podcast so we can start getting more and more subscribers and listeners.
And leave a review
5 stars
saying what friends you told.
Ooh, yeah. Put their names in. We'll shout them out.
Yep. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys. Love y'all.
Love you.